Good morning and welcome to Emerson Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We are so glad you are here. My name is Leslie McLean. I'm a member of the worship team, the leadership development team, and the Emerson Choir. I offer a special welcome to those of you joining us for the first time, either in person or online. We are grateful that you are here and look forward to getting to know you. As a Unitarian Universalist congregation, we affirm the inherent worth and dignity of each and every person through anti-racism, anti-oppression, support for the LGBTQ+ community, working for reproductive justice, voting rights, and other issues as the world calls us to side with love. We seek to build a beloved community, not only here, but in our surrounding area. Everyone is invited to join us for social time following the service. Those here in person are invited to join us for light refreshments in our fellowship hall that is on the first floor down this hall behind the sanctuary. At 11:25, please join us for religious exploration and small group activities. There will be worship reflections here in the sanctuary, and additional offerings are listed in your order of service. Each Sunday, we pause to light our chalice as a symbol of Unitarian Universalism and our commitment to be a beacon of love in the world. It reminds us that ours is a faith of compassion and courageous action, and that we must bring the healing and hope we find here into the wider world so that we can bring the same to others. Now, in the spirit of love in the beloved community, let's greet and welcome each other to this new day as we share our congregational affirmation. We need not think alike to love alike. Those in the sanctuary, feel free to move around to offer greetings, and for those online, please use the chat to introduce yourself or unmute to say hello.
Wondering if anybody else unmute to say hello at home, like you just suggested.
Good morning. My name is Christina Branum-Martin, and I am the minister here at Emerson Unitarian Universalist Congregation, and it is a lovely day to be together. The fall air is crisp, the leaves are falling, and I'm wearing my fall colors in celebration of today. Today is also a celebration of those we have loved and lost, and those we long to be with once more. And we invite the memories of all of those people to fill this room and fill your hearts. I offer these opening words by Unitarian Universalist minister Max Kutz. When love is felt or fear is known, when holidays and holy days and such times come, when anniversaries arrive by calendar or consciousness, and when seasons come as seasons do, old and known, but somehow new, when lives are born or people die, when something sacred is sensed in the soil or the sky, we mark the time. We respond with thought or prayer or smile or grief. Let nothing living slip between the fingers of the mind. For all of these are holy things we will not and cannot find again. Let us sing together after Kathy gives us some information about how we're going to do it.
Good morning, everybody. Our opening hymn this morning is number 1003. The words will be on the screen, but boy, it requires a little bit of instruction because this is a congregation that can sing in parts. So here's what we'll do first. Each line that you see up there, line 1 we'll sing twice, line 2 we'll sing twice, line 3 we'll sing twice, and line 4 we'll sing twice to learn it, and then I'll give you more instructions from there. So let's stand. So you see we have some choir members in front of each section to guide you. We're going to begin with line 1 over there. Brian will lead you, and all you ever are going to sing is line 1 over and over and over and over again. Line 2, when I bring you in, Brian and the basses will lead that section. Line 2, Caitlin and the sopranos will lead that section. Once you come in, don't sing anything else. Keep singing it until we get bored. Line 3, right here, Shalane will lead you in the altos, and then line 4. And when you see me do this, it means we're finished. Finish up the one you're on, and we'll be done. Good luck. 1, 2, basses and that row.
Where did we come from? Where are we? Where are we going? Where did we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where did we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where did we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Mystery, mystery, life is a well and mystery. 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 Mystery, life is a riddle and a mystery.
Leslie, would you do the stones? Thank you. We've come to the time in our service where we celebrate our joys and we acknowledge our sorrows and our concerns. These matters of the heart shared in community help us celebrate who we are together. And for this morning's ritual, we have stones, which have weight, and they are smooth, and they are indicative of life's both pleasures and times of ease. as well as our burdens and our times of heaviness. And the water receives those stones with ease and calmness. Each week you're invited as you come into the sanctuary to write what is on your heart, or if you're at home, you can always email us to let us know what's going on with you. The first stone we place today is in honor of the Cherokee and the Muskogee nations of the indigenous people who lived here before us. The second stone we place is for those wrongly enslaved here who labored on this land for hundreds of years. And so poignant today, that third stone is for all of those hurting and current conflicts across the globe. Would you put a stone in for those in Maine who had a harrowing number of days? We hold those who are grieving and who are healing and who are shocked by what happened. And another stone for those specifically in the Middle East who are living in a war zone, who are hungry, who are fearful and not sure what the next day holds. I share joy from Ed and Kathy Cosper. They said, we are joined here today with Ed's big sister, Connie, and his niece, and they traveled from Indianapolis and the Tuskegee University in Alabama to celebrate, and let's put our hands together for Ed's 75th birthday. And here's another joy from Fred Hatch. Several weeks ago, on the way to attend a wedding in Northern Virginia, I stopped and had lunch with Vance and Karen Cox. They're doing well back home and send their best regards to their Emerson friends. Would you add one last stone for those things that are just not ready to be shared? Perhaps soon we can celebrate with you or carry those burdens with you too. In thankful awareness, let's say the Buddhist prayer of loving kindness. These words are written in your order of service, or perhaps you know them already in your heart. May we all be filled with loving kindness. May we all be free from harm and suffering. May we all be well in body, heart, and mind. May we all be at peace. Blessed be.
One way we put our prayer of loving kindness into action is by partnering with other organizations who work to bring love, kindness, and justice to the world. We encourage our members and friends to support their work financially as we share our weekly collection, and also by participating in direct action. This week is our last week for our Share the Basket partner for October, Must Ministries Breakfast Program. Must Ministries serves breakfast daily for clients at the Must Hope House in Marietta. Emerson volunteers cook and serve breakfast once a month, every second Monday, plus Thanksgiving and Christmas, bringing the groceries and starting cooking at 5:30 a.m. to serve by 6:30. We plan for 75 breakfasts, and when possible, have an additional 30 for those waiting outside. Our Must Ministries breakfast program is a great way to serve our community. Please give generously to keep this program going. For those in the sanctuary, as the basket is passed, please feel free to offer a donation or see in your order of service other ways to give. For those online, go to emersonuu.org, select the Giving tab to donate. All donations, unless otherwise specified, are shared equally between Emerson and our partner organization.
Okay, today we have to learn a couple of things before we have our story, and I have a story to tell you about myself. So you heard the Reverend say that today was a day of remembrance, and how many of you have seen The Wizard of Oz? Have you all seen that? When I was 4, my mother had surgery, and her mom, my grandma, who's no longer here, came to stay with me. And so she let me stay up and watch The Wizard of Oz when I was 4. Now I will tell you, the scariest thing in that movie was the witch. Every time she and her flying monkeys came out, I was behind the couch. So that is what lots of people in this world think of as a witch, right? It's scary and terrifying, right? But that's the way Hollywood makes it look, right? So do you know what the term pagan is? Last week we talked about Christians and their God spark, right? Pagans are people who believe in nature, and they are called witches. And do you think they wear black hats and have ugly noses and all that? No, they look just like us. They're just like everybody else. Now, let's say if you are Christian, you pray, right? If you are Buddhist, you meditate. What do you do if you are pagan? You do spells, because it is about putting your intentions into the universe. And you know that witch made some potions. And what kind of things do you think they do with potions? They do. He said, give them to people. You are right. Because guess what? Back in the day, well, even now, they're super smart and they understand about nature and herbs and how they heal people. That's all potions are, right? So we are going to read a story today called Samhain. That's how it's said because it's a Celtic word. It's spelled Samhain, but it is pronounced Samhain. And Granny Hulda is going to tell us about it. All right? Are my pictures up? I better check this time after last week. Okay. What is Samhain? Samhain is a holy day celebrated by pagans around the world. It is celebrated halfway between fall and winter. At Samhain, leaves fall from trees. Change is happening. Samhain symbols remind us that we do not live forever. Death is a normal part of the cycle of life, just like being born. Samhain is a powerful spiritual holiday. We celebrate people that have passed on from this life, just like my grandma, right? As the earth changes from summer to winter, plants die. Birds fly south for the winter. Some animals go to sleep for the winter. Bears, skunks, and bats hibernate. Squirrels and mice snuggle in their nest. A lot of fairies also hibernate. I almost brought my wings today. Granny Hulda has put her garden to bed for the winter too. This is the witch's new year. Samhain is sometimes known as the witch's new year. The witch's new year is a time to create magic spells and potions. And witches meet up with other witches at Samhain to create more powerful magic together. Kind of just like we do here, huh? We get together and we like being with each other. Samhain marks the end of the harvest, and that is something to celebrate. There are many ways to celebrate Samhain. Samhain is a good time to make a memory table for loved ones who have passed away. Decorate it with pretty objects and photos. Granny Hulda likes to celebrate Samhain at the nearest full moon. Granny Hulda celebrates Samhain by making a list of changes that she wants to make in her life. She burns her list in a Samhain fire. Samhain is a good time to make a list of things that you want in your life. Granny Hulda also makes a list of books to read. Winter is a good time to dream. Granny Hulda will have lots of ideas for her life by the time spring comes. Samhain is a good time to make crafts. Granny Hulda likes to carve a pumpkin and make other Samhain decorations. How many of you have carved your pumpkins yet? Oh, we're going to. Yes. Granny Hulda also makes tiny fairy beds at Samhain. She hides them around the yard so that the fairies can use them during the long, dark winter. Granny Hulda takes a walk in the cold autumn air and sings a goodbye song to summer. Blessed Samhain. There you go. Now you know all about this holiday. All right, shall we stand and sing our song of dedication? Love is the doctrine of this church, the quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to sing to freedom, to serve Him in kind in fellowship, us to be covenant with each other, us to be promised to each other.
As we come together for a quiet moment for prayer and meditation, feel the weight of your body in the seat. Feel gravity holding you to the earth. And may a deep breath in allow you to relax as you breathe out. We gather today. We gather to remember them, those persons we have loved and lost, those that inspired us, cared for us, and journeyed with us. And in preparation for this, I will share this Blessing for the Brokenhearted by Jan Richardson. She wrote this in reflection on a short and bold statement by Unitarian Henry David Thoreau. He said, "There is no remedy for love but to love more." She begins, "Let us agree for now that we will not say the breaking makes us stronger, or that it is better to have pain than to have done without love. Let us promise we will not tell ourselves time will heal the wound, when every day our waking opens it anew. Perhaps for now, it can be enough to simply marvel at the mystery, at how a heart so broken can go on beating, as if it were made for precisely this, as if it knows the only cure for love is more of it. It is as if the heart's sole remedy for breaking is to love still, as if it trusts that its own persistent pulse is the rhythm of a blessing we cannot begin to fathom, but will save us nonetheless. In a moment, we will take a time to say the names of those we love and have lost. Perhaps it could be something as simple as mother or father, or the name of families or friends that shared your lives, or maybe even the pets that you have long let go of. And it is right to remember these names within a community of faith. and it's holy music to bring our voices together, to let them overlap as we bring our many names into this sacred space. So together, let their names rise like song. Say their names out loud now. Join me. Lisa Cameron Thayer. Grandmother Lola Balky. Great-grandmother Mama. May these names spoken aloud or perhaps held silently in your heart still be held in the heart of this loving community. And may the memories of them comfort and encourage us now and always. This is our prayer, that we hold in love those that we need to hold close in community. Amen. This time of year is one where reminders of loss and change seem to be all around us. The falling leaves, the changing to gold and red and orange and brown. Warmer weather shifts to chilly nights. I understand there's a cold front coming right in time for Halloween, which for me, as a person who still dresses up with my children, that's important to know which costume I can wear. Next week, we move our clocks back to savor the daylight hours. And Halloween, as many of you know, is also from All Hallows Eve. Halloween has a blended history that stems from the pagan traditions of Samhain, like Michael was sharing with us earlier. Thank you so much. But like most pagan traditions or other traditions around the world, wherever the Christian church went, the Catholic Church went at the time, they co-opted that history and changed it and morphed it into something different. So the story of what we celebrate on the 31st of Halloween, and also of All Hallows Eve and All Souls Day and other ways of celebrating at this time, is such a blend of history. It's such a blend of stories. And these days of this time are the days in which we set aside in our culture to think about those who have passed. Even the practice of something called souling, which involved baking cakes and sharing them with groups of children as they went from house to house, supposedly to help release the souls of people in purgatory, is thought to be the origin of our trick-or-treating. Who knew? But it's the harvest festivals of this season. It's the coming together in community and in family as we celebrate from a pagan perspective, from a Judeo-Christian perspective, from all the different cultures in which we come together, that we can have a service such as this today. The story about Samhain specifically is one that marks the end of the harvest season and a time for preparing for the colder and darker days of winter ahead. And it was a time believed that the other world opened its doors and that the souls living there could come and revisit their homes. Friendly spirits were warmly welcomed by friends and family with feasts and special places set for them at the family table. And harmful or evil spirits, which weren't so welcome, some people dressed up in costume as a way to disguise themselves and to be not discovered by the evil spirits and fairies lurking about. And this is another way of coming into what we understand as Halloween costumes. Our Unitarian Universalist histories and theologies recognize that Christianity and earth-based traditions are two sources of our faith. And this season's rich history is a time to honor both saints and souls. It seemed fitting this morning to take a moment to do just that. When we consider those to be saints who have been a part of our lives, sometimes we think of those who have exemplified those highest ideals in our life, or perhaps those who have modeled the best of human nature. And we can also honor the souls that we have lost, the persons we have known and loved and admired and who have died, persons whose intellect and whose kindness continue to influence our lives, and persons who will live on in our memories and in our hearts and through our contributions to society. UU Minister Reverend Terry Davis writes that saints and souls are not usually words that we think of when we think of Unitarian Universalism. And we are likely, each one of us in this room, to have a different understanding of what those words mean. Yet perhaps we might all agree that they are references to those whom we hold deep in our hearts and have high esteem for. We might ascribe a saint to a certain degree of holiness, perhaps, or maybe even a large degree of specialness. And for some, saints may be understood as persons nearer to God or the divine or the holy. And for others, a saint may be a person more able than the rest of us to lead a virtue-centered life. So in addition to honoring saints today, our recognition of All Hallows Eve is also about remembering beloved souls, those we have loved and those who have died. I feel certain that every person here today has a connection to someone who has died, because death is an unavoidable part of life. And we as Unitarian Universalists, and perhaps as optimists of the religious traditions, believe that love conquers death. For those whom I have lost, and I have felt the pain of loss, it's the memories of them that lessen the pain of my loss. And that anthem speaks to that directly. The photos and pictures and names of the people on our tables in front of us tell a story of memory. And these people, they weren't perfect people. They might not meet the qualifications for sainthood. However, they were perfectly human. They were flawed. They were ever-developing people. And in their perfect humanness, they taught us how to grow into who we are. They taught us to learn to reach for connection. They taught us how to forgive. They helped us learn to be more loving in our daily lives. And they taught us how to be perfectly human. So as we experience the ritual of remembrance today in this service, my hope for each of you is that you share the love that still continues to guide and sustain you from these people. And if your heart still feels broken, may we be grateful for them today, for they remind us that we are the people who mattered to them, and they are the ones who mattered most to us. Remember that grief has its own timetable, and that we can trust that our own healing will happen at its own time with sure footing, knowing that we do this together. The words that I opened the service with today by Max Coots reminds us that people born do die, and it is good for us to mark the time. And in a moment, you'll be invited to come forward to light a candle. And I'm wondering if you could help me dim the lights when that happens in a minute. Maybe walk in the back and do the clicker. The ritual of lighting candles and being in a room with the lights dimmed gives us an opportunity to see that those memories will always be present, even when things seem hard. To create a sacred and respectful space for our thoughts and our prayers and our smiles and our grief, we will participate in this ritual together. You're invited to light a candle or two, and if those of you might have a card still to put on the table, feel free to put it wherever you find a spot. And once everyone is done, we will join together reading the responsive reading number 720. Would your group like to come forward first? Would you share with me in the words that are in the reading number 720 at the back of the gray hymnal? I'll read the first line and then we'll read the next line together. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind and the chill of winter, we remember them. In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, we remember them. In the rustling of leaves and in the plenty of autumn, we remember them. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. So long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us, as we remember them. Leslie, would you put out the chalice for me? As we put our chalice out, I will share these words. The persons we have loved and lost are always with us in our mind and in our hearts. May we go from here remembering the precious gift their lives were to us, and may we commit to living our own lives in a way that passes along the best of who we are, so that we may love and meet each other today in kindness and in compassion. Thank you. And may we share these words. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world until we are together again. Do you want to do announcements?
Okay, announcements. First of all, you are invited to join us directly after today's service in the Memorial Garden. We will gather in the newly planted area to dedicate the space. Next Sunday, we are doing the Emerson Fire Drill. It begins after the chalice extinguishing and announcements at the end of the service. The safety team members and greeters will lead the drill to evacuate our building, and instructions will be given from the pulpit that day. And finally, there is a pagan ceremony of Samhain during the second hour. And in your order of service, there are announcements of anything else regarding second hour offerings. Go now in peace and take peace wherever you go.